మీఠాయి మాసాయ్ కలిస్తే భలే హాయ్. Namaskaram. Welcome everyone for our Mahabharata series, Mahabharata Relevance in Modern Day, episode 3.
Thank you everyone for your support and feedback. In today's session, Raji, what are we going to look into?
Yeah, so today we are bringing to you guys 6 aspects of how Mahabharata is relevant in modern day. And we are looking into 1, organization culture, values, 2, organization structure, and 3, mission, vision, and the objectives, 4, the high-level leadership style, and 5, the real under-the-hood leadership style, like autocratic or democratic or monopolistic or oligopolistic, and the 6th one, the organization politics and the interpersonal dynamics. So these 6 things, how are we trying to map it to Mahabharata?
Mahabharata provides the framework. I don't think that we need to take any pain or put an effort. We call org tree, right? Mahabharata lays this org tree for the 2 sides of the battle or 2 leaders, and it really describes the org tree in a beautiful way. Raji will walk you through the org trees. Then I'll provide a few examples so that you can appreciate these areas that we were looking into and how that plays out through those examples.
Yeah, sure. So if you look at 2 organizations, and here we are talking about 2 organizations, Pandavas and Kauravas. And when it comes to Pandavas, the organization tree or the structure, it's called Kalpa Vriksham or Pandavataru. And for the Kshatriya side, it's called Visha Vriksham or Kauravataru. And when you see who are the leaders for this, the Pandava side, yes, you all know, just Yudhishthira. And on the Kaurava side, though Dhritarashtra is kind of a named king, Duryodhana is the leader. And what is the kind of organization culture and values under these 2 organizations? So on the Pandava side, it is called as Dharmamaya Vriksham. That is, they go by the rules, by the dharma, that means righteousness, and all those values. They make strive towards to uphold those values and take care of the people by following those values and keeping the people above than their own personal needs. And when you see the Kaurava side, it's called, what are the Rosha, Rajo, Krodhamayataru. Rosha, Rajo, Krodhamayataru. And as the name itself, it says, Rosha, the angry, and Rajo Gunam, kind of highlighting it, is where their leadership mission, like or the culture or the values are. And if you think in the form of a tree, the trunk is called on the Pandava side, Yudhishthira, and the trunk on the Kaurava side, it's Duryodhana. And the major branches or the skanda is on the Pandava side, Arjuna. Kaurava side, it is Karna. And the sub branches or the shaka on the Pandava side is been kind of Bhima, and on the Kaurava side is Shakuni. And when it all kind of spreads into fruits and flowers, or the Pala Pushpa, it is Nakula Sahadeha on Pandava side, and Dushasana on the Kaurava side. The main root or the moolam in Pandava side is Krishna, Vedam, and the Jnanam or the knowledge. That means the righteous values, knowledge, all those things. And the roots on the Kaurava side is Dhritarashtra. And through these roots, the values has been the kind of a Visha values has been feeding the trees, the main trunk, branches, fruits and falls. And as a result, the whole organization behaves in that manner. So we have covered through the organization structure of both the sites, and we also looked into the organization culture and the value, the moolam of those, and in a way how the mission, vision, objectives, that means how the branches, the skanda and the shakas has been kind of divided. So, and kind of it also conveys how the leadership style is there in both the organization, right? So we covered those 4 aspects by describing the organization structure. Now we can look into the use cases as an example. I guess Sai will be delving into that to see how it provides an kind of an perspective of the organization, politics, interpersonal kind of dynamics, and how the under the hood leadership style kind of spans out.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think you beautifully laid out. Of course, it is all given there in the Mahabharata. That's what we wanted to create this interest for you to look into as well. You touched on the organizational structure and the leader's value are the root of that organization, right? Like it is built on Rosha, Rajo and Krodhamaya. Because Dhritarashtra, in critical times, doesn't take the decision to drive the mission of the organization to be righteous. He either takes a passive note or completely ignores his role. When the root ignores the role, then the rest of the organization has to take the decision. They may not be deep rooted in the values of the organization. You can really say that 3 different occasions: calling of the war, making a decision to play the game of the dice, and the outcome of it. We'll go into details when we touch those aspects of the story, but here the leader, we are talking about Dhritarashtra, he should be really be the root, uphold the values of the organization which he is failing, and as a result the organization is described as a Vishavriksham, and what the organization is kind of producing, the fruits and leaves, are the Rosha, Rajo and Krodhamayam you described, right? When you look at Duryodhana as a leader, like at a high level, when you describe the high level leadership, that's what I wanted to say, that he also comes across inspirational. You go to Duryodhana's town hall, he would be very motivating. Go, you guys have done an amazing job. I am so happy. I am going to this war because I am counting on you. You can make the difference, kind of a thing. Everybody gets motivated. You'll be surprised. That's why he got 11 Akshohinis. So he is able to garner the support with his rah speeches. He is a great communicator as well. But
from the surrounding kingdoms.
So he is able to come and amass this 11 Akshohini army compared to the 7. We'll get into the details of what Akshohini means in later episodes. But just 11 versus 7 means he is able to garner higher support.
So that displays his communication, convincing style, and he's very skillful. I mean, he is always skillful
at a high level
at Pandavas, but the only thing is the very
deep-rooted values are not the right ones, right? So when you describe at a high level leadership style, right, like when you just see Duryodhana, he's an amazing leader, I want to work for him, kind of a thing. But when you kind of peel that layers, then you know. Duryodhana reaches out to Bhishma, who is like the senior leader in the organization, and say that we are getting ready for the war. Can you help me understand our strengths and the opponent's strengths? So Bhishma beautifully describes this in a SWOT analysis, right? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What opportunities that we have? What threats? Similarly, he describes the other side of the army. He uses, now in the current day data science world, we always talk about three different types of data sources: internal, external, and personal experience based data. So Bhishma brings all the three of them and presents beautifully. You might wonder, the same question is asked by Yudhishthira to Krishna. In Duryodhana's case, Duryodhana is asking his Sarva Sainyadipati, who is responsible for the entire army, but for Yudhishthira, he is asking the consultant, so an independent consultant, Krishna, the same question, and Krishna also beautifully describes the strengths of each army. And you'll be wondering, where does that autocratic versus democratic leadership style is coming? When he communicates to, when he, in the sense, Duryodhana communicates to Bhishma and Drona, he respects them at time, but that's not what he is expecting. He is expecting them to blindly follow, and he gets that from Karna. So when he goes and says, now we should fight Pandavas, even though they have Arjuna and Bhima, they say that Bhishma and Drona, they say that please, you have 11 Akshohinis, but they are very powerful, the win is not that easy. He doesn't like that. Whereas Karna says that no, we can really kind of take them over in a couple of days and this war will end, you will become this ultimate king. So that is the kind of autocratic, monopolistic mindset. I do not want any opposition.
To even feedback, even if it's a right feedback, even if you're blind spotted, doesn't want to.
See, that is the exact thing in a leader, right? Like when on the surface you see them awesome leader, but then they ask for feedback, but they don't want to take the feedback. That is clearly evident in Duryodhana's case. The more and more examples that we dwell into, then only we actually appreciated the difference between the two leadership styles and two personas, right? And Duryodhana even accuses Bhishma and Drona after all the hard work. No, you didn't put all it takes. They said that this project is going to fail for these reasons, this is not the right time. No, I made up my mind.
To go for the war.
I decided we are executing this project, go for the war, and then at the end of the day they come and say we did our best. Actually they do more than their best, and he comes and says that no, you never put your best, I'm disappointed at you, and then he really uses derogatory terms. And the same thing after disastrous performance by Karna, he doesn't say anything. Right from the Gosha Yatra, I mean the list goes on, even before Kurukshetra war, and this guy runs away, but he doesn't. So you will come across leaders like this. This is the organizational politics and interpersonal dynamics that we wanted to say is, if you're working for a leader like Duryodhana, they are very soft talkers. You will really sign up looking at their YouTube video saying that I wanted to work for this leader. But once you start working, they won't take any of your kind of feedback or inputs, and then you will feel that undervalued. You may be as skilled as Bhishma or Drona, but they are looking for Karnas. Karna is again skilled, but it's not the skill. No, whatever you say, I will execute it. I will execute it blindly. So these are the things that we will really appreciate through these examples, right? Like maybe recapping it. If you can recap the 6 things that we talked about so that we can appreciate what we learned today.
So as we have seen the organization structure of both the sides, and we also dwelled on their culture or the values, the base or the moolam of it, which kind of impacted their vision, mission, and the objectives, and also the high level leadership, what's the differences, and also the under the hood, leadership. There's a real leader, but when he's not putting his foot strong on the floor, so how things happen. And finally, the organization politics and interpersonal dynamics.
This is
Hope-
amazing. Yeah.
Yes, hope that was interesting, and we were able to give you some glimpses, because we can dwell into a lot and then it becomes a long video. So just as a teaser, you must have heard a new word, Akshauhini, today. So maybe you can look into and see what's an Akshauhini, and we will have in future episodes about Akshauhini and giving the details, and it's amazing to see that one too.
Yeah, there are multiple dimensions.